Welcome to This Explainer. Look, if you're a driven, highly analytical professional, there is a very good chance you've hit the wall of modern hustle culture. The constant burnout, that endless daily grind, the weird feeling that you're just running on a treadmill and getting nowhere. It literally feels like a glitch in the system, doesn't it? Well, today we're taking a root access look at the underlying architecture of your reality. Think of this as your manual for reprogramming your life's core algorithm so you can finally escape the bloated, lagging software of everyday stress. We are going to bypass all the superficial self-help fluff and dive straight into the actual structural mechanics of how to optimize your existence. All right, let's look at the system overview for the patch we're about to install. We'll be covering the maintenance mode trap, the master operating system, malware and system entropy, powering the smart contract, dual core processing, and finally executing the zero state. Let's get right into it. Starting off with Section 1, the maintenance mode trap, and how we escape the 9 to 5. We really need to look at a massive systemic failure in how we define modern success. So here is the crucial dichotomy. We spent decades, literally our whole lives, thinking that grinding at a 9 to 5, paying bills, and accumulating status is the ultimate goal. But in systems terms, that's just maintenance mode. You are simply paying the server hosting fees to keep the physical hardware, your body, alive. Our actual prime directive is system optimization. It's purifying the mind and achieving root cause resolution. When you make maintenance mode your entire identity, the real program, the actual reason your system exists in the first place, never even executes. It's crazy because we are a society completely numb to suffering. We've lived with the malware of stress, anxiety, and frustration for so long that we honestly think the screaming cooling fan and the massive system lag are just how the hardware is supposed to run. We've totally normalized the glitches. We even defend our viruses because the struggle has just become our identity. Moving on to Section 2, the master operating system. To fix these normalized glitches, we have to understand the actual architecture of reality. Think of your mind as the master operating system. Classically, this is known as NAMA. The mind is the core compiler. Literally everything you experience, your career, your relationships, your physical environment, it's all strictly downstream of the mind's code. So if you want to fix a glitchy output, you don't do it by yelling at your computer monitor, right? You have to fix the underlying code because the mind is the master OS. Fix the mind, fix the world. Now, this brings up a really fascinating question, and one that trips up a lot of ambitious people. If the mind creates reality, why do standard self-help tropes like vision boards and the law of attraction systematically fail for so many people? I mean, why isn't visualizing an outcome enough to make it happen? Well, it's because designing a nice UI mockup isn't enough to actually run a complex program. Here is the missing variable, merit, or what's traditionally called boon. Merit is your actual computational power. It is the system capital, the raw funding, and the battery life required to deploy your application. You could have the absolute most beautiful vision board in the world, but if your server has zero power, that program will not run. And here is the really cool karmic multiplier. When you invest your energy in root cause solutions, like cultivating a pure, unbothered mind, you generate a massive ROI of this high-frequency data. But of course, any powerful system with a lot of computational capital is going to be targeted. Let's get into Section 3, malware and system entropy, and look at these persistent system threats. We usually think of ancient concepts of evil as, mystical red guys with pitchforks. Let's redefine that for the modern mind. Mara, or kilesa, these mental defilements, they are actually advanced persistent threats. They're highly sophisticated cybercriminals actively hacking your network. They run malicious background processes like greed, anger, and delusion that constantly introduce system entropy. And just think about how this malware consumes your RAM. It fragments your unified network through completely arbitrary conflicts. It creates these endless loops of anxiety. It consumes 99% of your processing bandwidth with pure stress, which causes your CPU to overheat and lag during critical decision-making. The realization here is an absolute game changer. Overthinking isn't intelligence. Overthinking is just a CPU struggling to run a corrupted algorithm bloated by anxiety. So how do we protect our hard-earned system capital from these cyber threats? We need an airtight routing protocol. Let's dive into Section 4, powering the smart contract. Generating raw positive energy, like just doing good deeds without a specific resolution, is actually highly dangerous. It creates an unsecured energy trap. It's basically leaving an open network port for malware to hijack your raw energy and reroute it back into worldly distractions, like feeding your ego. Instead, you've got to write a secure routing protocol, a smart contract known as Iditana. This encrypted instruction locks your generated energy to a specific root cause objective of ultimate system liberation, so it literally cannot be hijacked back into the simulation. When you establish this secure, optimized inner architecture, it totally neutralizes the viruses of the dark side before they can even execute. By properly routing your energy and maintaining a centralized, stable core, the malware simply bounces right off your firewall. But how do we actually run this system in our chaotic, high-stakes, modern environments? You can't just go meditate on a mountain all day. Let's transition to Section 5, Dual Core Processing and the 200% Life. Welcome to the 200% Life. This is a brilliant dual-core approach to existence. You have to separate outer movement, meaning the flawless execution of your external tasks, your job, leading your teams, from inner stillness, which is maintaining a totally unbothered core processor. This right here is the ultimate executive function. You manage incredibly complex corporate environments on the front-end interface while running a lightweight background daemon of absolute calm right at your core. So, how do you execute this? Through the OpenEye System Anchor. You keep your UI responsive, you actively engage in your meetings and your daily tasks, but you intentionally allocate 5 to 10% of your awareness to that core daemon, maintain a single emotion firewall of goodwill. By running this light, continuous ping to your core server, even during the most high-stakes meeting, you instantly quarantine corrupted emotional data, like anger or frustration, before it ever hits your decision matrix. It's real-time, automated system defense. And finally, to keep this dual-core system running flawlessly, you need a daily diagnostic to completely wipe the RAM. Let's move to our final section, Section 6, Executing the Zero State. Let's look at the hardware clear phase. When you run this daily diagnostic, you must visualize your physical body not as dense flesh and bone, but as a sleek, clear diamond tube. You are a frictionless fiber optic conduit channeling pure data. You want absolute zero physical resistance here. And inside this conduit, you need to locate the mainframe. Your mainframe is actually the exact physical center of gravity in your abdomen, known as the seventh base. This acts as the stable central node radiating that frictionless energy. It is the absolute center of your operating system. So let me walk you through this daily diagnostic manual. Step 1, initialize the system by visualizing that hollow conduit. Step 2, locate the mainframe by anchoring your awareness at the seventh base in your abdomen. Step 3, centralize your data streams by effortlessly dropping your awareness into that core. Literally, don't force it. Step 4, expand the network, feeling yourself as the central anchor of the room. And step 5, maintain the zero state. Just rest in pure, neutral contentment. Doing this effortlessly gathers up all those scattered processing threads from your workday and centralizes them perfectly. Which brings us to a really foundational truth. To execute the stop command is to wipe the malware and return the system to its pure, instantaneous zero state. We so often think we need to brute force our way to solutions, but true wisdom, true intelligence is instantaneous computation. And that only arises when the lens is perfectly clean and the malicious loops stop executing entirely. When the mind is still, the correct path simply emerges without any friction. So, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Take a real look at your daily operations. Are you actively writing your own inner algorithm, or are you letting the malware of modern society run you? It's time to stop just paying the server fees for a lagging, miserable system. Take root access control of your master operating system starting today, clear your RAM, and watch how flawlessly your reality compiles. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.